London derby will be at Craven Cottage for Fulham against Spurs. Kickoffs at 4 p.m. The best live sport.
This is your football station.
This is 5 Live.
Hello, it's Up All Night with Callum McDonald, here till 5 o'clock this morning. Thank you for your company and thanks for getting involved as well on the quiz there. I think we've got quite a few texts, so thanks for sticking with us. Now, for the next few minutes on Up All Night, we're going to chat about ASMR and we'll find out more as we go along because we have a very special guest with us. Hello, Gibi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you doing?
Yeah, very well, thanks. Where about in the world are you?
I am in the Midwest United States.
Nice. Well, thank you very much for coming on our programme. It's great to have you on.
Yeah.
Now, we're obviously in the UK, we're broadcasting in the middle of the night, but as we like to say on Up All Night, it's always breakfast time somewhere. So hello, wherever you're listening. What is ASMR, first of all, Gibi? Can you just explain that to us?
Well, ASMR, it's an acronym. So it stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. Okay. And essentially, that's just used to describe this huge genre that sort of cropped up starting about 8 years ago, but now has really gotten big in the last couple of years of relaxing sounds. And people who experience ASMR report feeling actual like tingles or like a buzzy feeling that's like very pleasant in like your head or maybe down your back and things like that. So there's a bunch of us who make ASMR content in order to help people relax, and a lot of times people use it to fall asleep as well, among other things.
So I should say actually at this point that before the end of this conversation, we're going to get Gibi to sort of show us or demonstrate, I should say, some ASMR techniques. And so I just wanted to mention to anyone who's listening who doesn't want to feel overly relaxed or potentially, start feeling a bit sleepy if you're driving or if you're working or whatever, that is something just to be aware of, and perhaps you should go and listen to one of 5 Live's brilliant podcasts, maybe Brexitcast on BBC Sounds. So just that's something to think about. What got you into ASMR? How did you find out about it? And then you make loads of YouTube videos sort of that are ASMR themed, and so that's now what you do. How did that come about?
I actually was a listener forever. I started watching it about sophomore year of high school. So around 8 years ago, I was watching ASMR myself because I had terrible trouble falling asleep, a lot of anxiety, a lot of, restlessness. It's just like you can't turn your mind off. So I would just watch random YouTube videos, whatever I could find, until I basically just passed out. But I actually did one of those YouTube rabbit holes where I sort of just started falling into like these different videos, and I found the whispering community, which was just people whispering while they made videos, and that sort of turned into the ASMR community that we know now.
So like just people literally just whispering is considered as ASMR. Do you need to get that? All right, that's fine.
That was my alarm to be on the show, so we're all good.
Sorry, we got you on a bit early. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So yeah, is whispering a thing? Whispering is something that counts as ASMR. It
is. It's actually the most popular trigger is people's voices, either soft speaking or even, whispering.
Wow. And is that something you do? Tell us what you kind of do on your channel. What are your sort of favourite techniques, I suppose? We'll demonstrate them in a minute, but what are your kind of favourite things to do?
I do like to do a lot of speaking, a lot of, the whispering and the soft speaking as well. I do a lot of role plays, which essentially will put somebody into the position of a relaxing scenario. So I'm speaking to the camera like it's a person, and somebody consuming that content, feels like they're there, and you use special microphones. So it really sounds like I can be in your ears. So you always want to be wearing headphones when you first try something like that.
I find it so intriguing that it's videos that are used largely, or there's certainly a big community on YouTube for this kind of thing, because a lot of research suggests that kind of watching videos and stuff and having like a screen in your face is not that conducive to being relaxed and falling asleep.
A lot of people will, flip their phone over if they don't want to hear it. And a lot of the times people will just be watching them in the background. I watch them a ton, like while I work, just to, relax and de-stress. But if I have it on in bed, I'll oftentimes just flip my phone over.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think as well, I kind of did the same as you when I was like researching this ahead of tonight's programme. I ended up watching, more YouTube videos than I can count about this. But one thing that actually kind of that struck me was, just because of the way YouTube videos work, was that sometimes I was watching what should be like a relaxing video, but then like a really loud advert popped up in the middle of it, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my days, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's actually pretty taboo to put ads in the middle of any ASMR videos. If I ever do an ad, I'll make sure it's at the very beginning. So, you get it out of the way and then you're done. Yeah, that's my personal choice anyway.
That's so interesting because presumably something like the ads would pull you out of that relaxed state that you're trying so hard to get into.
Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah. I can't stand it when that happens.
What sort of things really work for you then when it comes to ASMR? So you mentioned before that you kind of had restless sleep and all of that. What were the things that properly helped you?
So since I make a lot of the role play videos, that's actually what I tended to watch because it was distracting enough for me to not be thinking about whatever was stressing me out, but then relaxing enough to put me to sleep. So it was like this perfect medium for me. I really like like personal attention triggers. So it's things that, might relax you in real life, like somebody brushing your hair or something. People will do that on camera and you get to hear the sounds and you sort of get the same sort of like visceral reaction that you might get in real life, down to just like very basic tapping sounds, people reading out loud stories, even soft singing. I find a lot of those really useful.
Yeah. Okay.
Gibi, Jared here, by the way. I'm joining Callum in studio. So I have trouble sleeping, but I find some of these sort of like meditation and stuff, I find like it doesn't really work. You're kind of jumping into the ocean with it. Is there a starting point with all of this?
I definitely would say context helps a lot. A lot of the times if somebody just shoves a video in your face and you're not ready for it, it's going to be pretty weird. I think a simple tapping video, or maybe there are a lot of videos called trigger assortments. So it's people doing a lot of different tests and different sounds, and you can find what you like there and then explore it in other videos. But I would say make sure, you're very comfortable, you have headphones on, there's nobody around, so you can sort of let yourself relax. Since the first time you watch it, it's definitely a feeling of what the heck is going on right now.
What's a tapping video?
People really like the sound of fingers or nails, like tapping on items.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? I do. I put on like the sound of rain when I go to sleep at night.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
All the time? Would you do that every night?
I struggle to sleep. When I'm left to my own thoughts, I actually find it harder to get to sleep than when there's something a little bit distracting but nice and soothing. So
that's exactly
this is quite interesting to me. Yeah.
Why? Okay. Because for me, I would probably more instinctively put on like a podcast or a radio program or something and kind of fall asleep to that. And that, it's just people like we're doing now, I guess, people just kind of chatting away. And
exactly.
I think it's, for me as well, do you know one thing I've done in the past as well? I have a really loud clock in my bedroom, and nights where I've struggled to get to sleep, I actually really focus on it ticking. And for some reason that seems to
Well, famously,
relax.
Wayne Rooney used to fall asleep with the Hoover on.
Really?
Yeah.
And I guess, Gibi, that's like the white noise thing, I suppose, the Hoover. Would you say? Is that about right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard of all of that before. None of that is new to me.
Really? Yeah. Well, of course. yeah, absolutely. That's fair enough. Is there any sort of science behind like what works for some people? What certain people might be more drawn towards?
The most popular trigger reported so far has been the soft-spoken, just gentle voices. And then I believe hairbrushing is up there along with personal attention, tapping, scratching. But there hasn't been a ton of science on like specific triggers working for people. That's why I think there is so much variety that you can find on YouTube, because what works for somebody might not work for somebody else. It's really just a matter of finding out what works for you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm so fascinated, as I say, and as you were saying, you kind of just disappear on YouTube, don't you, most of the time? But actually, you just drift into so many videos finding out about this. Right, okay, well, I think it's time. So I just want to kind of mention again that if you are listening to this and you're doing something that requires your full attention, and you don't want to relax, you don't want to kind of feel a bit sleepy if you're driving or whatever, then maybe just sort of either, I don't know, open the window, maybe zone out for a few minutes. I'm not sure. But just a bit of a warning to kind of be aware of what's about to happen. But Gibi, can you kind of take a couple of minutes and just, relax us, I guess?
Sure. So what I would do is first you get quite close to the microphone, whatever one you're using, and you put on your best radio voice and then make it about 50% quieter. And I'm fairly casual when it comes to ASMR videos. I'm a very casual person, so I'll just say, hello, how's it going? I hope that you're doing well and that you're comfortable. And today we might be going through a couple of triggers to help you sleep. maybe some of the more popular ones, such as tapping or liquid sounds, if you don't mind those. So then I would explain what I have in my hands. And since this is radio, it's a bit different because I work a lot with visual triggers. So they would see me pick up a mug and I would just start tapping on the mug because it just sounds pleasant and for no other reason than that. And sometimes we don't need any other reason. And something else that I might want to tap on is this. I have a smooth coaster here. I believe it's made out of marble. And I do like to describe what each thing feels like. So this is more like a thick piece of stone. And I'm using my fingernails to tap, but some people prefer it a little bit softer.
I'm kind of getting it. I understand why people would engage with this. I really feel it kind of powering them down, I suppose.
Because it's intentionally relaxing, which is nice.
I've interrupted there because some of our technical guys are actually close to falling asleep, I think, next door. To be fair, they're on their last night shift and stuff with their run, but I think we've kind of made them drift off.
Yeah, it's late for you.
Yeah, totally. Oh man, Gibi, it's so interesting. And I mean, do you make a living from this? Is this what you do?
Yeah, full time.
Yeah, cool. How many? You've got like 1.5 million subscribers, right, on YouTube?
We just hit, I think, 1,600,000.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
there's big appetite for this stuff.
A lot of people need to relax.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's a lot of people who, of course, listen to our program who do struggle to get to sleep. So perhaps some of these techniques might actually help. So that's what we're here for, which is cool. Thanks very much, Gibi. It's really cool to speak to you. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
No, total pleasure. And thanks for taking the time to do a bit of a demonstration for us. Well, I love that. That's really
Absolutely.
cool. Nice one. Well, good night. I'm going to try. I've got another hour and a half on the radio, so I'm going to have to try and, psych myself up again. Yeah, exactly. But thanks for your help and guidance and advice. That's so cool. That's Gibi there, and you can check out her YouTube channel, of course, if you'd like to pick up some more ASMR techniques and videos and stuff. I had no idea you struggled to sleep, Gerard.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my mind is a busy place. So when I'm
Wow, really?
Yeah.
You'd never know.
But it was only recently I got put onto it. It does work. So genuinely, I'm gonna go and try it.
Yeah. So the rain thing is your big one, right?
Rain, kind of crickets, that whole thing.
Crickets as well.
Nature type stuff is what helps me.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's interesting as well. I don't know. I guess I'm probably quite fortunate that I've never really struggled to sleep. But the occasional time when it happens, it's always a radio program. That's what sends me off.
Yeah, I mean, that was what I was getting at. When I've tried things like meditation and stuff like that, but you really have to it's like training a muscle. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's probably the same thing. You have to train your mind to be able to switch off and do that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Well, Gibi's videos are worth checking out if you struggle. This is Up All Night. It's 3:25 on 5 Live. And just a quick mention of some great content from 5 Live from yesterday. There you go, Paul. Told you I'd do it.